You know, I'll bet you're going to be pleased to know when you're doing your weather planning like my buddy Cal is, that the National Weather Service does have a few ways of letting you know about expected severe weather. And one of those ways is right here. It's a severe weather outlook chart. And this chart gives you a 24 to 48 hour forecast for thunderstorm activity, including tornadoes. Now, the severe weather outlook chart really has two parts to it. The left panel here gives you information about possible general and severe thunderstorm activity, including tornadoes and tornado watch areas for the next day, for the next 24 hours. And the right panel, on the other hand, only tells you information about severe thunderstorms, and it's only for the following day, from 24 to 48 hours in advance. Now, let's go back and take a look at the left panel. And when you see a hatched area like this, it tells you that they have a possible risk of severe thunderstorms. And if you see the letter slight, it means that there's a slight risk of severe thunderstorms. If, on the other hand, you had read the word moderate or high in there, it would tell you they have a moderate or high risk of severe thunderstorms. Now, in addition to this hatched area, you'll see something a little bit tricky, and it's this arrow. And the arrow can meander around all over the place, and the head of the arrow is up here like so in this case. Now, no matter how these arrows meander around, what this chart is telling you is this: everything to the right of the arrow is forecast to have probable general thunderstorm activity. And what that means is, conversely, everything to the left of the arrow is, you got it, not forecast to have thunderstorms. Now, let's back off and take a look at the big picture. And once again, we had this arrow, and everything to the right of this arrow is forecast to have thunderstorms. And we have another arrow that looks like this, meandering around, and the head of that arrow is up here. And everything to the right of this arrow is forecast to have thunderstorms. What that tells us then is this area over here is not forecast to have thunderstorms, and this area in here is not forecast to have thunderstorms, but everything between these arrows is forecast to have thunderstorms. Now, if you look to the right of one of these arrows and you happen to see the letters A, P, C, H, G, that means you have thunderstorms to the right of the arrow that may be approaching severe intensity. Now, another easy way to get information on thunderstorm activity is from this thing right here, the convective outlook. It provides you with what is known as a textual forecast, and that means it's in words like this, and it's a forecast of general and severe thunderstorm areas. Let's take a look at this one and see what it says. It's, first of all, came from MKC, that's Kansas City. AC is the identifier for the convective outlook. It came out on the 28th day of the month at 700 Zulu, and it's valid from the 28th day of the month at 1200 Zulu to the 29th day of the month at 1200 Zulu, and here's what it says. Isolated thunderstorms are expected to develop in portions of the North Pacific coast, and they're supposed to be spreading inland after 00 Zulu as cold air aloft associated with the next upper system approaches the western U.S. So they're forecasting isolated thunderstorms, and they thought you'd want to know. Well, this convective outlook and the severe weather outlook chart we've been talking about are especially useful if you're planning a flight later in the day when the thunderstorms start boiling away. After all, severe weather is something all pilots should pay rapt attention to. These weather tools help make it easier to figure out where to fly and especially where not to.